everyone, hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. Today I am going to show you how to use this die. This is from the slimline collection from Creative Expressions. It's called Decorative Squared Stripes. Weird name. But what we're going to make with it is this slimline card and a matching envelope, white on white. So I've got centura pearl, a hint of silver, and just ordinary stamping card. The little flower decoration is from Elizabeth Craft's English Rose, and I've just used the two bigger dies for that. So, okay, so let's start by making the base card. So if you take, this is my pearl card for the envelope, but if you take an A4 sheet of card and cut it down lengthways, I'm just checking my measurements, to 7 3/4. So this bit is 7 3/4 here. And then we're going to score it at 3 7/8 to make our slimline card. It's basically 2/3 of an A4 sheet. So what did I say? Score at 3 7/8. I want to make sure I do that right, otherwise the measurements won't fit. So there we go, 3 7/8. That is our slimline card, and we will burnish that fold with the bone folder. Okay, I'm going to put that to one side because while I've got the scoring board out, sorry, I'm clattering around there. I should try to be quiet. I'm going to take my piece of A4 centura pearl to make the top part of the envelope. So what we need to do is we'll put it this way around to start with. I'm just checking measurements because I don't want to go wrong on these. So we are going to have it this way up, and we are going to score at 2 inches down this side, 2 inches, and then we're going to flip it 180 degrees, and then we're going to score at 2 inches on that side too. I'm going to flip it around 90 degrees there, and we are going to do this end, one end at 1.5 inches, and we're going to do the other end at 1 1/4. Yeah, 1 1/4. Okay, so there's the scoring. So this is going to form the bulk of the envelope. Now, we do need a piece to go on the back, which I have already cut, and that's at 8 3/4 by 4 1/8, and I'll show you why we need that bit in a moment. So let's first of all burnish all our folds, and this end as well. So the shorter end, where we scored at the 1 1/4, that's going to be the bottom of the envelope, and this up here is going to be the flap. Okay, so we are going to cut scissors. That would help, wouldn't it? Okay, so we are going to take out these corners, the whole thing, like that, and this one, take out all 4 of the corners, and once we've done that, we're going to just also we're going to trim into these bits here just to make the flap. So there, and in this one, and in this one, and here. So this will fold up like so. Oh, I didn't trim that one. Do that there and there, otherwise you'll find, like I did just then, you can feel the resistance on it. So so we're going to fold those up like that. In fact, we fold that one over there, and you can see that it doesn't meet, but in order to fit the card in, you need it this wide. So that's where that other piece comes in, and that's going to sit on top of there and cover that up. Okay, and we will just glue that into place now. before, and that can be drying while we are doing that. So fold up that flap to begin with, and then we will, oops, that will stick, and we'll stick glue down this end and this end. Yeah. Okay, and we will glue. Oh, I've got glue on the front of that, not to worry. Stick this on to the back here. Now, with the flap at the very top, you can leave it like this if you want. You can slice it in if you want, or if you have, like I do, a very old corner rounder, then you can just round the corners of that at the top. It gives it a nice finish to your envelope there. So that's the envelope made and our base card made. So what we need to do now is to cut our piece with our die. Now, this die is actually a cut-in die, so it doesn't cut a piece out. There's no cutting edge around the edge of this die. All it does is it cuts out these rectangles and the little tiny squares around the edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of white card, and I'm going to do the same as I did on here. So on the envelope's in the pearl card, so I'm going to cut that in the pearl card. The card is the white card. I've got that upside down, and so I've cut that in the white card. So that's the bit I'm going to do now. So I'm going to place this on, and we need some tape to fix it in place. One there, and one there. And then grab our plate for the Gemini. We need cutting plate. We need plastic shim, magnetic shim, and then our top plate. Toss that through. Okay. Now, as I said, it doesn't cut the whole thing out. So once it's out, we're going to use our guillotine to cut while the die's still in, to cut around it. Out. Okay. So while it's still in, and you can see the bits have already pretty much fallen out. We'll grab our hammer, and what we're going to do is we're going to carefully slide it under and line up. As you cut, you'll be able to see if you're near, much near, and then you can just kind of ease up through right next to the die. Okay. Same on all four sides. If you're too far over, it just won't let you cut, so you'll know you're in the right place. Sharp cut there. And same on this side. There we go. And this way you know you're going to get a consistent size with this as well. The top bit for the top will be the same size as the bit for the envelope. Oh, shower of lots of little dots because all of those little bits have just fallen out of the die. There you go. Here we have it cut. It cuts absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we're now going to do the weaving for this. Now, what I did is I've already cut the strips, but what I did first was I took a piece of card. I took a piece of card and I kind of just sort of eyeballed how it would fit, just slightly inside. You don't want to go exact because as you're weaving, it's going to get a little bit tight in there. And then I cut it into 4 strips. So this is pearl because we're going pearl against the white. So all we're going to do with this is we're going to take our first strip and we're going to go up through and down. So literally up and down. Now the first 2, 3-ish maybe, are really easy to do. You can see it sliding through easy, but as you get more in there and it gets a little bit tighter, it becomes a little bit more tricky. Okay, so there's our first one, and push it right down to the bottom. And take a second strip. Excuse me. This time we need to come up under that one. So it's alternate. Excuse me. Seem to have a frog in my throat. And again, so you can see it's already slightly harder this time because you've got this bit holding the struts in place. So it's going through. Yeah. Oh, through. Okay. So that's the second piece done. Pull that through. And again, push it right on down as far as you can. Okay, so strip number 3. It's going to go the same way as the first one. So it's going to go over and then under and over and under. And then you can see it's getting slightly trickier. Everything's more firmly held in place by those other 2 pieces. This is a really, really simple but very effective technique. And I must say, as soon as I saw the die, it was the first thing I thought of, some sort of weaving in and out of those lines. Okay, so there's our third one. This is the one that becomes a bit trickier. Okay, it's all a bit tighter, so we need to go under this one. Okay, so there is enough room, but only just, which is why I say don't cut it to the exact width. It won't work. You need a little bit of wiggle room. Now you kind of have to really tease this. You have to grab from the back, pull that through, and then grab from the front. Now the end, doesn't matter if the end gets a little bit dog-eared because you are going to hide it behind here. Okay, so we're going to keep threading through. I'm going to pull that slightly back, push it down, pull it through. Like I said, this is the hardest one. It's because everything else is already in place. It's holding all these bits nice and tightly, which is what you want, but it just does make this one a little tricky. Keep going. As you can see, this end is a little bit tatty, but it's not going to show on the finished piece. Now you could do this with a contrasting colour. You could do it with ribbon. You could do it whatever. I just happen to like the white on white effect of the pearl against the matte white of the stamping card. Okay, so there we go. It's through. Okay, and you can see that tatty little bit, that bit that I had to use to pull through, is all hidden. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue and left the lid off of that. So let's hope it's going to work. Put a little bit of glue down here, just to stick those ends, and the same on the other side. Just a little bit of glue underneath to stick the sides. There you go. Right, so that one is now done. Okay, and this is for the card. Now you don't need to sit and see me do that same process again. So I've already done the one for the envelope, although I haven't actually stuck the ends, so I will stick the ends of this one down as well. Just makes it easier when you come to sticking this on the card, otherwise you'll get flappy little bits. Don't want to stay down. Okay, there we go. Glue on the end just to keep those in place. For that. Now for the envelope, you then need a mat in the white card to contrast onto that one, and for the card you need one in pearl. Now it's up to you how big or how much sort of border you want around your mat. Yeah, it is personal preference, and I do tend to eyeball it, so I don't really know how big those borders measure. So we're going to stick these down onto both the card and the envelope. Envelope, I don't know. I'm sure somebody's going, it's envelope. Yes, it's envelope. As long as it fits the card, I don't think it really matters. So there we go. We're going to stick around the edge, but also stick some glue on these bits here, just to make sure you've got plenty of contact with the card. Okay, that. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, use 3D foam tape or some glue gel to give it a little bit more height. But my only, all I would say with that is be careful, because if it's too deep, it won't fit in the envelope. I have checked this one. If I show you this one that I pre-made, this fits in with this amount of depth. It's always the ribbon that gets caught, but that will go in. If you make it any deeper, then you run the risk of it not actually fitting into the envelope. So just be a little bit careful about how much depth you are going to use on that. So I'm not on the envelope, and I realise I've got a pencil mark there. So, and then we glue this one down same way, making sure you put glue on all of those, just to make sure you've got plenty of contact between the card and base. There we go. Okay, so to decorate, what I used, and I haven't got the die in this pack, but on the Elizabeth Crafts English Rose, you've got lots of little petal dies, but you've got 2 different large dies. You can see that these 2 are slightly different. So all I've done is I've cut 3 of each, 3 of the plain white and 3 of the pearl, and I'm layering them. So on the white card, I'll go pearl, white, pearl, and on the envelope, I'll go white, pearl, white. So I am going to just use my ball tool. I haven't got my foam out, so just bear with me a moment. I don't know what I've done with that. But see if this is a foam stamping mat. Let's turn that over and see if I can get a little bit of purchase on that to do a little bit of shaping. Yeah, a little bit. Not as good as the proper foam mat, but it is giving me a little bit of a purchase just to get some shape onto those petals. So we'll do that with all of them. And just literally rolling the ball tool round. Got the proper, not even necessarily proper, it's only a little bit softer. I'm wondering if my mouse mat might be softer to try on. Let's have a go on that. Oh yeah, you can see it responds. It's a lot softer, so it responds better. Literally going around with the ball tool, down in the middle, and this one for there, and then let's do the one. Oh, I seem to have extras. They've grown. They're multiplying. Oh, wrong around. When you're, well, not all the time, but when you're shaping petals like this, you want them round that way, then you need to do it from the back and then go back and push down in the middle to give them a little bit of dimension. There we go. It's a middle layer for that, and then one more. We don't need that one. One more. As I say, you don't want too much dimension on this, otherwise it is not going to fit into the envelope. Okay, so we need some glue gel. Okay, they've gone, and my 2 little bits of ribbon that I already pre-tied. So around. There we go. There's our envelope. We'll go this way around, and this one. A little bit of glue gel on, a little bit more on the top, the next layer, and then the last layer there, and a ribbon to finish. That's the envelope done, and then the card itself. Make sure it's the right way around. There, Probably offset that a bit too much with it being falling off the side of the card in terms of it going in the envelope, but you get the idea. And then there we go, little white ribbon, and there we have, using our slimline collection decorative squared stripes in a different way with using the weaving. Thank you.